Spa, and we're ready to go racing in the Formula Renault Eurocup. This is a 30-minute race plus a lap. The grid is formed and it's based on the times in the second qualifying session, which means that Victor Martins is the man on pole position. He's had a race win already this year. It's been an ultra-competitive season, the Formula Renault Eurocup. New cars for this year as well, and we look forward to seeing what they're capable of at Spa, a circuit where, particularly on the run up towards Les Combes, you can slipstream and overtake Victor Martins, who is part of the Renault Sport Junior Driver Programme. There he is, lines up on pole position. And Victor has been very good this year at racking up the points. He's only taken one race win. That came at Monaco, but he's been scoring well and continues to add to that, no doubt, over the course of this weekend. The car being run by the MP Motorsport car. Victor, who was a French gymnastics champion as a child, then stood out in karting and now stands out in car racing as well. So Victor Martins, you can see the tyres have had a fair gruel already over the qualifying sessions, but he's the man on pole, with Sebastian Fernandez lining up with him at the front of the grid. Alexander Smolja has had a pretty bleak weekend. I mention him because he's second in the championship, and Alexander Smolja lines up on only row 9, and he's on row 11 for the other race of the weekend. It's Q2 for race 1, Q1 for race 2. But he had two bad qualifyings, so the car of Alexander Smolja needing some good results, some good racecraft to get him up the order here. Sebastian Fernandez on the outside of that front row of the grid. Fernandez, who has raced in the FIA European Formula 3 Championship before taking a step to Formula Renault this year. He's also been a front runner in Italian Formula 4 in years past. There is the man that dominated Silverstone, number 1, Oscar Piastri, the Australian driver. Piastri, who was in the Eurocup last year. He was 8th, but that was in the earlier incarnation of the car. So Oscar Piastri here driving with the new car, like everybody has, the Formula Renault FR19, this 4-cylinder 1800cc turbo engine, 270 brake horsepower, 6-speed gearbox. And there, lining up 4th on the grid, is Lorenzo Colombo, and he is good to go in the MP Motorsport car. Colombo, who did win both races last time out. In fact, to Paul Ricard, he was quick but erratic at Monza, but he got it all hooked up nicely in France. And for, again, MP Motorsport, like the car on pole position of Victor Martins, Lorenzo Colombo will be one to watch here, starting 4th on the grid. 5th on the grid is going to be there, Xavier Lloveras, who drives for the GRS team and was in Eurocup last year, learning about the circuits, but now looking for a stronger season. So the grid is formed with Brad Benavides 6th on the grid. Now, there's been quite a lot of shuffling going on at the FA Racing by DriveX team, the FA bit being Fernando Alonso's squad, and some new drivers have come in and 1 or 2 changes elsewhere. Callan O'Keefe, for example, bailing from that team to the M2 competition squad, but Brad Benavides lining up alongside this man, Xavier Lloveras, 6th on the grid. The continuity, really, within the FA Racing team. So the grid now being cleared, and we will get the cars released very shortly. There's number 61, that's Brad Benavides, and he is, as I say, part of the FA Racing team, Florida-born to Guatemalan and Colombian parents, and he's been racing in Spain for the last few years in international karting, and now switching to car racing. At the back end of last year, he did a couple of Euro Formula Open races, a kind of F3 type category, but in Renault Eurocup this year, looking mighty strong indeed. So the cars will be released very shortly. And once they blast away, we'll start to get an idea, perhaps, of who is going to be the man to beat around here. Victor Martins looking good in the qualifying session for this race, but only by hundreds was he quicker than the opposition. There wasn't much to choose between the two. So the green flag shown, cars are released, and now they blast away from the line. So there is Martins. Oscar Piastri will be a man to watch for sure. Oscar Piastri, very rapid driver, as we saw in British Formula 4 before moving into the Formula Renault Eurocup. Number 32 going through there is the Arden car of another of the graduates of the British racing scene, the British driver Frank Bird. And through Eau Rouge they will sweep, and then the climb up towards Les Combes. So these Tetris-built chassis, everyone has the same base car, the Formula Renault FR19. And on this lap, a top speed estimated of 243 kilometres an hour on this section up towards Les Camps. For 78% of the lap, you're on full throttle, and that's 36 gear changes to a lap. The estimation is 13 laps within the race duration, and it's a 7.004 kilometre long lap that we have here at Spa-Francorchamps. At the rear of the grid going through, Alessio Deleda, former bike racer who had a go in GP3 at Silverstone a couple of weeks ago, sporting the British Grand Prix. And with the winners this year being Ugo de Wilde at Monza, along with Alexander Smolja, Oscar Piastri doing the honours both at Silverstone, Victor Martins and Smolja again at Monaco, and Lorenzo Colombo winning both races at Paul Ricard. It means 5 different winners this year, and are we going to add to that here, or can we get maybe a second for Victor Martins as he tries to extend that championship lead? So as the cars come now through Blanchiment, everybody on Hankook rubber, which is quite a talking point really for this year, because for so long Michelin's been involved with the championship, but Hankook has got the contract to its great delight. And as you see, 53 turn through there, Petr Potacek, he makes his way up towards the start and finish area. He's going to be 10th on the grid for the Bitec team, Petr Potacek, the driver that was in the MRF Challenge and the Toyota Racing Series over the winter months. Also drove in Italian F4 and Spanish F4 last year. Bitec, which is a team having come from Formula 3000 and GP2, also a GT team of success. Right, Victor Martins then for MP Motorsport. This team that has run the likes of Dennis Olsen, who's one of the front runners in the Spa 24 Hours here this weekend, to success, Sander Dorsman's team, and comes to pole position, the Arden car of Sebastian Fernandez lining up alongside the centre of the grid, Oscar Piastri into place, Lorenzo Colombo lining up alongside him. And there, number 42, into place now. Callan O'Keefe moving to the M2 competition team, replacing Yves Baltas, switching away from the FA Racing by DriveX team. Callan O'Keefe, pretty experienced driver coach as well. And we've not really seen the best of him this year, but he's better than his results would suggest. Right, the grid is formed. And as the green flag is waved at the back, the 5 lights will go red when the lights go out. Now we are racing, and who makes the best start? It's not Fernandez, who creeps away. It's a good start, though, by Victor Martins, and Sebastian Fernandez undoes all the good work of qualifying. Another poor start made further back as well by Leonardo Lorandi, who should be a pace setter, but he's had a duff qualifying too. And as the leaders wriggle their way out of La Source, 1 or 2 get forced out wide, including, I think, Ugo de Wilde. They drop down the hill for the first time, and it's Victor Martins just in the lead of the race. Up into second then, Oscar Piastri, and who is going to be third as they dive their way through Eau Rouge, looking quick, certainly at the moment, is 31. A good start from Patrick Pasma to gain ground as the cars now make the run up towards Les Camps for the first time. But a poor getaway by Leonardo Lorandi, and a poor start too by Sebastian Fernandez from the outside of the front row as Piastri gets the toe, gets the lead, goes round on the outside line. Lorenzo Colombo is third, 4th is Pasma, and then 5th is Xavier Loveras as they drop to Les Camps for the first time then. Ugo de Wilde, way down, the Monza winner. Great start to the year, but it's unravelled since. Others skip across the middle of Les Camps and get back onto the road. The order shuffles accordingly. Piastri then, from 3rd on the grid, leads the way as they drop down the hill here. Turning now down the hill, and speed building all the while here. Oscar Piastri it is that leads the way. Into Pouhon they come. And Piastri with, 3 lengths already over Martins, and then in 3rd place, the very rapid Lorenzo Colombo, 4th in the championship, hustling on. Number 2 goes through, Caio Collet, the Brazilian driver. He's another, as you tell from the livery in the Renault Driver Academy. So through he goes. He was the winner of the French Formula 4 Championship last season, was Collet, driving for the R-Ace GP team. So he comes through, the Renault Sport Academy member, up to the end of lap number 1, but it's his compatriot within that young driver programme, Victor Martins, who leads the way on the grid, but Piastri ahead of him on the road now. And Piastri trying to extend the advantage as they come up towards the end of lap number 1. Was that a slightly smoky car there? We had one of the Arden cars just looking as though something might have been dribbling from the rear of it. Up towards the bus stop they come, end of lap number 1. Wheel to wheel in the mid-pack, one of the FA racing cars scrabbles through. Onto the power goes Franco Colapinto in his first outing in the championship, the 16-year-old, the leader of the Spanish F4 championship, going absolutely toe-to-toe with the opposition there over the line. Frank Bird up against him as they head into La Source. And through on the inside line there goes Colapinto, and he picks up the place, gets a little bit ragged on exit, but he's gone 13th. So Piastri leads Martins by 8/10 at the end of lap 1. Lorenzo Colombo is 3rd. Patrick Pasma 4th ahead of Lloveras, and then Petr Potacek in 6th place. Fernandez 7th after his POC start. 8th is Benavides, 9th is Kushmaini, 10th is Caio Collet, who's actually not really sparkled in Formula Renault this year. He's been on the podium only once, in fairness, despite his good track record. Oscar Piastri then leads the way up towards Les Combes. Is Martins getting any nearer? He was quicker by 2/10, but getting a toe. Patrick Pasma is the fastest out of the top 4. Wide goes Potacek. He had got past Lloveras. He goes wide. Does he hang on to the place? No. Lloveras back round the outside, back up into 5th place. So Xavier Lloveras goes through, picks up the advantage, and now he's under attack as well. Is Petr Potacek from Sebastian Fernandez, who tries to find a way ahead of him as they come out of Bruxelles and down the hill once again here. A sideways, slightly offline, Lloveras then pushing hard in 5th, but that battle you can see has delayed them, and they've lost a big chunk of time to those ahead. Through they turn once more into the pit path, and a dive to the inside by Potacek. That's not going to happen. Lloveras blocks him off there, covers the line. Right, left, through the corners, onto the power again. Lloveras again a little bit wide into campers, but you see others pushing hard and the car's just not biting as the drivers would like. There through, 61, Brad Benavides, 8th place he is at the moment, keeping Caio Collet at bay. And there is the battle as Potacek lines up to have a go at Lloveras. Fernandez tries to fight back as well on the outside line. This time is Potacek there, wheel to wheel. He gets run out wide, he goes through, but he's off the road and he gains the place. I think the officials might want to look at that. So Petr Potacek gains a position, but he was off the road in order to do it. Over the line they come. You can see the way that the leading 4 have scarpered up the road. New 5th Potacek, 6th Lloveras, 7th Fernandez, 8th there is Maini, and number 42 is under investigation for a jump start. That's Callan O'Keefe having his first outing for the M2 competition team. So as the leaders make the climb up the hill, fastest lap Oscar Piastri, and he's getting away at the moment. And there another bold move by Benavides through on the inside line. Amaury Cordial also getting a little bit crossed up behind, and the battle pack here accelerates up towards Les Combes. We're on lap 3, 24 minutes plus the lap to go. Up the inside there is Lloveras, and he's making a move against Patrick Pasma now. And it's nearly 3 wide in the next gaggle of cars. Caio Collet trying to keep at bay there. Not only Colapinto, but also Alexander Smolja, who is working his way up the order at number 3, up into 12th place at the start of the lap. To the inside line there looks Kushmaini, and Lloveras falling back in the pack because Fernandez through, he's pulling away from him. Replay of the start here, and you see how Fernandez goes and then bogs down. He does manage to get going again, but loses places as a consequence, and the car that's stationary on the grid is that of Leonardo Lorandi that was 9th and makes a dreadful getaway. He has got going, has Lorandi, but only now in 19th place, a long, long way back. And you see the car just goes nowhere. Fernandez at least was able to stagger away, but Lorandi completely, I'm afraid, fluffed that. He's had a 2nd place as his best this year in the first race at Monza, but Lorandi has flattered to deceive really this season. So Oscar Piastri it is, the race leader on lap 3. Coming up now, out of Blanchimont, heading up towards the bus stop chicane. Through the right, through the left, up towards the timing line comes the race leader, Oscar Piastri, still clear. And the gap that he's got now, Piastri over Martins, a second and a half. Lorenzo Colombo it is in third place, Patrick Pasma fourth. And then this new order, Fernandez, Potacek, Lloveras, Maini, Benavides, Collet, Colapinto, João Vieira. Smiley are down to 13th, Frank Bird ahead of Callan O'Keefe. And there on the inside line goes number 18. That is the Amaury Cordial car, trying to gain a place as they turn their way through La Source. Xavier Lloveras there under attack from Kush Maini, younger brother of Arjun Maini that you've seen in Formula 2. And they make the climb up the hill absolutely nose to tail. Now this is where the toe starts to work. The slipstream effect should help Maini. He pulls out early, actually, gets out of the draft nice and early on the run up the hill. He may have gone too soon there. And then, yes, he has. He slots back in behind. So Lloveras fends him off. They're both being caught by Brad Benavides. He's down to 9th, but he's doing his best to fight back. He's taking Caio Collet with him in 10th place. Collet there goes through for R-Ace GP. 10th spot he runs in at the moment. And still, this potential jump start for Callan O'Keefe is being looked at as well by the officials. Downhill they blast once again. Through goes 32. Frank Bird pushing on. Round the outside, tries to go Caio Collet to gain the place from Brad Benavides, which he does. Second part of the Piff Puff opens up for him, and Caio Collet goes through up into 9th spot. That was brave stuff. A 10-second penalty goes to Callan O'Keefe for a jump start. They've looked at it, they've given the penalty, and Caio Collet up into 9th spot. So he gains 1 place, and it was hard for that, but he deserved it, and he's gone through. So the race leaders power their way now through the left-hander of Blanchimont. Number 53 is under investigation as well. That's the Bitech car of Petr Potacek, out of track limits with advantage. Well, that's what we saw at the bus stop. Benavides fights back, and he goes off the road, and he will gain the place. Now, does he lift and give it back? He should do. There's an Arden car off in the background, possibly Frank Bird there. So Benavides comes across the line. Caio Collet will go back through on the inside, yes. So there, look, Brad Benavides does the job properly, doesn't defend, lets him go back ahead. And that's what really should have been done by Petr Potacek, but he did not do it. He gained the place and gained the advantage. And also, in the course of this, Sebastian Fernandez has set the fastest lap of the race last time around, possibly getting a tow by Patrick Pasma, his Arden teammate, and there they are, making the run up the hill. So Sebastian Fernandez comes under attack. Lorenzo Colombo, in fact, is under attack now from Pasma. So Fernandez not yet with them. There, going very wide is Lorenzo Colombo. Through he turns, and now the cars come down towards Bruxelles. Now, Potacek is being told he must give his position back to Lloveras, which he gained earlier. He's 2.3 seconds up the road, so it's taken a while to decide that, and in so doing, he's obviously built up the gap. So now, battle on for third place. Colombo versus Pasma. Patrick Pasma having his best showing of the year. He's not been a podium finisher yet, Patrick Pasma. He's another graduate of the UK racing scene, because Patrick Pasma there, the Finnish driver, came from Formula Ford 1600 in the UK and the British F4 Championship. So Patrick Pasma inching up onto the back of Lorenzo Colombo, 4th in the championship coming into this race. The cars now turn their way through the fast right-hander of the Cour Paul Frere. And now the cars swoop into the approach of the bus stop. There you've got Oscar Piastri in the lead of the race, and that gap 1.3 seconds. So it's plateaued a little bit now. Victor Martins doing his best to get onto terms as the leaders come up towards the bus stop. Through they come, up towards the end of the 5th lap of the race. And is there going to be an opportunity now for Victor Martins to do anything about Oscar Piastri? The gap 1.6 seconds, that last lap, no, was slower by the chasing Martins. Here's the real line of cars that comes through, battling away with the head of that queue as they come through. Kushmani up into 6th place now. He's got ahead of Joveras, and Potacek has given back the place, and now he fights back and he goes through on the inside. So just to prove the point, he goes through but then goes wide and gets forced out even wider, and he skips over the curb, and Potacek off the road and back on again. Downhill they turn through Eau Rouge. There is Xavier Joveras. Potacek now under attack from Caio Collet, so he could lose another place in all of this. Other front runners, other winners this year. Smolyar only 13th, Hugo de Wilde only 15th. He has never looked as good as he did in that first race at Monza. So there is Miney, 6th up towards Les Combes. 17 minutes of the race to go as Caio Collet there gets up the inside line. Caio Collet ahead of Potacek. Another effort is made there. Brad Benavides defending his place. Sorry, not Benavides, Colapinto it was, going through on the inside of João Vieira. So lots of shuffling in the midfield as down towards Bruxelles goes Petr Potacek now, keeping Caio Collet at bay. Out of Speaker's Corner, down the hill they plunge once more. So the race leaders are on lap number 6, and the lead gap is 1.6 seconds between Piastri and Martins. There is João Vieira trying to get his place back from the newcomer to the championship, Franco Colapinto, the 16-year-old leader of the Spanish F4 championship, and actually Colapinto, belying his age, belying his relative lack of experience in these cars, racing really strongly. 3 turns, 16 minutes on the clock. And there is the fight on still for 3rd place. Lorenzo Colombo ahead of Patrick Pasma. Down they come into the bus stop once more. Brake, turn right, turn left. So as the leaders dive into the hairpin, and then out of La Source past the Heritage pits, there's still fun and games going on at the bus stop. Another driver there being forced out wide. I think that's again poor old Frank Bird, who's dropping down the order, being roughed up rather in this fight. Through they go. Bird 16th. Brakes hard, goes into La Source. Amaury Cordeel, Lorenzo Lorandi all squabbling behind as well as they plunge downhill now. So Bird goes through. There is Lorandi, number 25, next in that queue. And Amaury Cordeel right there with them. So Cordeel has dropped back a place to Lorandi, and now Lorandi gets the tow from Bird, so he's about to go for 16th place here as they come up towards Les Combes once again. Brake, turn into the right, turn into the left at Les Combes. Lorandi, having gone through, now starts to edge his way up the order, but it's all a little bit too late as Federico Malvestiti goes through there, number 51. There's Hugo de Wilde, the Monza winner, and he's down in 14th place at the moment. Leaders on lap 7, as you look at number 31, that's the Arden car of Patrick Pasma, who's dropped back a little bit now from Lorenzo Colombo. In 5th place is Sebastian Fernandez, who is definitely getting into the mix now. That gap is coming down between 4th and 5th. So Colombo for MP Motorsport fending off the challenge here of the 2 Arden cars. Patrick Pasma, then Sebastian Fernandez. There is Fernandez going through. Fernandez from FIA F3 last year, Italian and German Formula 4 before that. And the Spanish driver, Sebastian Fernandez, up towards the bus stop. Yellow flag, and a safety car is being deployed. A safety car on track. That is going to change the gap significantly. Is it going to shuffle things on the restart? Let us see. Safety car deployed. Now, why do we have a safety car? We've not found an incident as yet, but the safety car is on track. The rest of the field coming out of the bus stop. And there's the safety car ready to scoop up the field as they come down past the endurance pits. number 42, Callan O'Keefe, shown as being stuck in the first sector. So I fear that Callan O'Keefe is the cause of the safety car. So he's the one that's not come through, and there at Eau Rouge is Callan O'Keefe. The car is stationary. I'm surprised that's a safety car, actually, to get that out of the way. But anyway, the safety car has been called for. And everybody slots into place behind. That's hopefully going to be easily moved behind the wall, and then we can get things back underway. So up the hill they come, now to Les Camps once more. There is Callan O'Keefe's car. So not a great debut, sadly, at the M2 competition team for him. Switching from the FA Racing squad, and it's not really brought him much better fortune, sadly. Safety car comes over the brow, down to Bruxelles. And the safety car will come in at the end of this lap. So a brief clear-up operation. Car easily out of harm's way. And with the length of the circuit as well, it's only the one lap needed by the intervention car, the safety car, before we get the race back underway with Oscar Piastri, the race leader, Victor Martins second, Lorenzo Colombo third, Patrick Pasma fourth, Sebastian Fernandez fifth, sixth is Kushmaini, seventh is Xavier Lloveras, eighth is Petra Potacek, ninth is Caio Collet, and 10th is Brad Benavides. So the race leaders turn through Campus, the right-hander. What have we got left? Just over 10 minutes and 40 seconds, plus the regulation lap at the end. So they come now up towards the completion of lap 8. Lots of weaving around going on. So there, number 61, Brad Benavides. He's been up and down the order a bit in this race. He's now currently 10th, but frustrated, no doubt, that he's lost places over the course of the race. So now Oscar Piastri slows the field right down, gets ready for the restart, gets ready to try to make a move and see if he can storm clear as the race gets back underway. And he accelerates now, looking to make a good restart. And trying to go with him is Victor Martins. This gives Victor another chance here to try and make a move against the leader. The gap right down between the top two, and the green flag flies. We're racing again. Over the line they come. Piastri tries to shake off Victor Martins by jinking left and right to break the toe. Third is Colombo as they break for La Source. Fourth is Pasma, fifth is Fernandez, sixth is Maini. That's the order into the final third of the race now on the clock. Through they turn, challenge and a lock-up on the inside there by Alessio De Leda, trying to improve from his last place there by getting up and past another of the newcomers, Rui Andrade. So the leaders swoop through Eau Rouge, now making the climb up the hill once again. This is lap number 9. Piastri knows the toe is going to go against him here, so he starts to weave, he starts to jink left and right. Martins has a look to the inside, he's got to defend from Colombo as well, and there for fourth and fifth side by side, Pasma and Fernandez, who comes out ahead. Let's see, they're still together, and Fernandez looks like he's got it. Sebastian Fernandez then through on the outside line. Has he made the move and made it stick? Yes, he has. Fernandez jumps Pasma then on the restart. There is Petra Potacek still under attack from Xavier Lloveras because the places have switched. Potacek back up into 7th. Caio Collet 9th behind the two of them as they drop down the hill once again here. They turn now through Pouhon. And the cars accelerate their way towards the pit path with Piastri trying to get away in that first sector. The gap had come down a little between them. So Victor Martins being given a lifeline here, really, by that safety car bunching the field up. Another effort is made, trying to get through the traffic. Lorandi, also Smoliar's on a mission. Further up the road ahead there, Caio Collet keeping Benavides at bay. There's João Vieira. So the race leaders then down towards the completion of the lap, with right now looking ever so strong here, the race leader Oscar Piastri. So Piastri it is up front. Leaders go over the timing line, and as they come through, Caio Collet, another one trying to gain ground as they swing towards La Source this time. So 18 Amaury Cordeel through, way down in this race, sadly. He had been doing good things in sectors, but trying to make progress from lower down on the grid. So Piastri still clear, Victor Martin second, and then Lorenzo Colombo hanging on to that third place now. Number 12, Lorenzo Colombo, shaken off for the moment, the Arden cars. Now Xavier Lloveras and Caio Collet battling together. Lloveras under attack for this 8th place squabble. Lloveras and Caio Collet pretty much as one. Caio Collet doing his level best to try and gain ground here as the cars swoop their way once more through this fabulous lap. It's a real challenge for the drivers' Spa, one that the drivers really relish, given that, of course, it's a place they want to come and race as Grand Prix drivers. Brad Benavides also squabbling there with João Vieira, and Alexander Smoliar getting on the inside there. Now Smoliar, remember, a double winner, trying to make amends for a lousy qualifying. He was on the 9th row of the grid, and Smoliar, number 3, second in the championship. So it's absolutely vital that he gets points in this race as the cars then make their way through once more. So Smoliar doing his best to try to gain ground here as the cars accelerate through. Smoliar on the attack. Number 32, Frank Bird, there also trying to find a way past Hugo de Wilde. De Wilde, as I said, the man that was won at Monza. And down the pit lane, Leonardo Lorandi. So Lorandi struggling in this race. The rear is where they address all the attention. I'm trying to think whether we saw Lorandi getting himself in any contact earlier on, but it's been a bad day for him. And of course, he also stalled on the grid early on in the race. Now, number 3, Alexander Smoliar, still squabbling with João Vieira, as the leader, Oscar Piastri, goes over the timing line. The gap second to third, also to the eye, coming down a little bit. So you've now got Victor Martins coming under attack from Lorenzo Colombo. Down to La Source they come. Alexander Smoliar still trying to make progress now that he's sorted out João Vieira, but Vieira fights back on the inside line. Is he going to be able to make a move there? Smoliar with a better race results this year, keeping Vieira at bay as they go through La Source, then drop downhill once again. So through Eau Rouge comes Oscar Piastri, making this look pretty easy up front now, having been able to make the most on that restart after the safety car. As up towards Radiant then come the race leaders once more. And Oscar Piastri looking so strong in this. To the inside line, Smoliar now comes up to attack Brad Benavides. So Smoliar, since the safety car, has got much better in all of this, hasn't he? So Smoliar, another place gained, hustling on. And out of the car, Leonardo Lorandi. That's his race run, disappointingly. So Lorandi, who qualified pretty well, out of the race. So up front, it remains then Oscar Piastri, looking here as though it's going to be a 3rd victory of the season here. Still this battle going on between 61 Brad Benavides, 28, which is João Vieira, the JD Motorsport car. And down to the inside line there, Brad Benavides just being able to fend off teammate Franco Colapinto as they turn their way through. So 3 minutes on the clock, race leaders down the hill. And as they come up towards the approach now to the Cours Paul Frère, Ugo de Wilder in the midst of all of that. Piastri's advantage, incidentally, 1.7 seconds. We've got just under 3 minutes plus the regulation lap on the clock. And the cars head up once again towards the bus stop. Challenge being made there. Look, Sebastian Fernandez on the inside line of Lorenzo Colombo, but can't find a way through. Colombo fending him off. So over the timing line, Piastri through. The gap between him and Victor Martins up to 1.9 seconds now. Again to the inside line goes Fernandez. Can't find a way through. Lorenzo Colombo has got pointy elbows and he sticks them out. Hangs on to the place. So there you've got the two of them diving down the hill as one. And is this where Fernandez makes his move? He's certainly close enough. If he can get in the slipstream now, he might be able to make the run heading up through Radillon. Here he goes. So Sebastian Fernandez, second on the grid, recovering from that dreadful start, makes his move. Does he? Look, he's in the draft. Now goes to the outside line. And this for third position as the cars swoop up towards Les Combes. So can Fernandez get a podium? He moves across to try and cover the line, but Colombo on the inside line breaks later and stays third. Great racing between these two. Colombo then runs wide in the mid part of Les Combes. Up the outside goes Fernandez, still can't do it, so Colombo hangs on to the place. Through Bruxelles they turn, down the hill, Colombo under pressure, the car quivering again there as he tries to hang on to the spot, but up front Piastri maintains the advantage. And once more, downhill they run. So through Pouhon they turn. And the advantage of Piastri is going to grow because he's doing better sector times than his Martins on this lap. They will get the one lap board at the end of this lap, looking at the clock. So as the cars blast now through Pouhon, whoops, one goes rather wide there over the curb. So everyone pressing on still. Tyre wear regarded as being pretty high on this lap, but the cars with the top speed of getting on for 243 kilometres an hour on that climb towards Les Combes, with a shuffle behind, 10th, 11th and 12th, Smolliard, Vieira and Colapinto, all ahead of Brad Benavides now. Right, so there to the inside line looks Fernandez. In fact, he won't be the last lap board this time. They will squeeze two more out of it because the race leader now breaks the beam with 16 seconds on the clock. Piastri goes through. Oscar Piastri, the leader. 2.4 seconds, the margin he's built up over Victor Martins, and a new fastest lap just done by Oscar Piastri as they go through. So Piastri, Martins and Colombo, the top three for the moment. Where Smolliard got himself to top 10, having started 17th on the grid. There's Federico Malvestiti, and there for third place, Fernandez and Colombo still battling. Here they come, Colombo hanging onto the position, but Fernandez tries again. He's worked the rest of the lap to be in this position once more, and it's almost like an action replay. He goes to the outside line on the climb up towards Les Combes. To the outside goes Fernandez. Can he move across and cover the line? He's going to try. Yes, he's done it. Finally, he goes round the outside. So Sebastian Fernandez goes third. Lorenzo Colombo, the man that started fourth on the grid, a row behind. Fernandez drops back behind him in the race now. Over the brow, down to Bruxelles. They come fifth is still Patrick Pasma, and sixth behind them is Kush Maini. Downhill they turn, but Oscar Piastri looking for win number 3. Very strong indeed in this race, and it looks as though he's going to be not only the winner but a comfortable winner actually, given the way that the margin has increased since the safety car period. So there you've got the fight for third, fourth and fifth, all turning through the piff-paff, and then the run down towards the right-hander of Campos once again. So Piastri, the race leader, fastest lap of the race as well, all this from third on the grid. And having hit the front, he's managed to stay there and stay there quite comfortably. Number 1 goes through, Oscar Piastri. So the Australian driver into the chicane. and he will get the one-lap board this time. Up through the gears, over the line he goes. And so onto the final lap of the race goes Oscar Piastri, and Victor Martins doing the chasing 3 seconds back. Now Piastri, I think, has realised that he's got this in the bag, and equally Victor Martins has had to realise that he's got to settle for points. Fernandez third, fourth and fifth Colombo and Pasma, and Kushmaini still charging on in 6th place. Now, where did Maini start on the grid? Because he's another that's made pretty decent progress. 11th he started and 60 runs. Not bad going at all, that. Leaders come through out of Eau Rouge once again. Up the hill goes that leading train. But Oscar Piastri, the Australian driver, set for, as I say, win number 3 of the season. He dominated Silverstone. And let's see what he can do here. Oscar Piastri, who came from the UAE Formula 4 Championship into Formula Renault NEC, and there you see Smolyar still squabbling with João Vieira and also getting himself on the back of Xavier Loeras for 9th place. Smolyar hustling on. He's in danger of losing out though, because Vieira is right up behind him. Behind Vieira is the newcomer to the series in the FA team, Franco Colapinto, and Colapinto has also raced well from 20th on the grid to 12th place in the race. There is Smolyar almost alongside Loeras as they drop downhill. Wide up the curve goes Loeras, the door is open, and now Alexander Smolyar should be able to make that move stick. Yes, he does. Through he goes. 17th he started, 9th he is now. Alexander Smolyar in the second part of the race has really come storming along. So Smolyar getting better and better and better. There's an incident involving 32 Frank Bird that's going to be looked at after the race, and that's the race leader, soon to become race winner. The Australian for R-Ace GP had 2 podiums in Eurocup last year, only 2 podiums. He's already had 2 wins, and this is going to be the 3rd, as Oscar Piastri then now makes his way up towards the timing line. The checkered flag is at the ready. He's going to start, though, 8th for tomorrow's race after the separate qualifying session. So here, through the bus stop he comes, and to the checkered flag, a sideways Oscar Piastri off the road and back on again, will win for the 3rd time this year in Formula Renault Eurocup. Oscar Piastri wins at Spa 2nd. Victor Martins, championship leader coming into this race, and then 3rd over the line. It is Sebastian Fernandez. Lorenzo Colombo takes 4th. Patrick Pasma drops back behind Kushmaini on the last lap. So Maini 5th, Pasma 6th, Patacek 7th, Kyle Collett 8th. 9th will be Smolyar, and then Xavier Loeras to round out the top 10 with, actually, thanks to the safety car, more happening in the second part of the race than we seem to have in the first. But it was a lively battle, that's for sure, in that second stint. So there the cars quickly whisked off the circuit down the pit lane, and some, of course, in the top 3 and the rookie contest needed for the podium. So for Oscar Piastri, a very impressive drive that, and a 3rd victory of the season for him. Oscar Piastri takes the win. Victor Martins, a 3rd, 2nd place to go with 3 thirds and a win. And Sebastian Fernandez, first time on the podium this year, so a good result for him as well. The drivers arrive into the Parc Ferme area. And very shortly, we can hopefully hear from Oscar, the Australian. He has a British race licence, so it could be that you hear the British national anthem rather than the Australian, but he was a bit surprised when that happened at Silverstone. He now knows why. He's prepared to accept both, I think. And an excellent job done by Oscar Piastri. A good start, and then very well driven in order to hang on to the place, keep everybody else at bay. The drivers, Victor Martins, Sebastian Fernandez, 2nd and 3rd, out of the cars, make their way over to the presentation area. And Victor Martins for that 2nd place, Sebastian Fernandez for 3rd, make their way to join Oscar Piastri, and then to the podium, Kushmaini, the leading driver in the rookie competition. So So Oscar Piastri wins the first of the 2 Formula Renault Eurocup races of the weekend here at Spa-Francorchamps from Victor Martins and Sebastian Fernandez in 3rd. 4th goes to Lorenzo Colombo from Kushmaini and Patrick Pasma. In 6th place, Petra Potacek. 7th to Potacek. 8th Kaya Collet. 9th Smoljar and Xavier Lloveras in 10th ahead of Javiera and Franco Colapinto. Ugo de Wilde 13th from Amaury Cordil and Federico Malvestiti. Rui Andrade, newcomer, 16th. Frank Bird badly delayed. And he, in turn, is ahead of Alessio Deleda and then Brad Benavides. Let's have a word, then, with our race winner, Oscar Piastri, victorious, and he is in the pit lane, ready to talk to Dakota.
Oscar, it's been a few races since I've had you down here. Congratulations, what a great race for you and GP Extreme.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, love this place, what can I say? Yeah, thanks to the team for a really good result, and yeah, been too long since Silverstone, and yeah, good to get back on top of that.
Was it hard to hold off the competition? It looked quite easy.
No, is the honest answer. You know, I think we're all pushing 100% the whole way. You know, the last 2 days has been ridiculously hot, so I didn't know if the tyres were going to hang on, but yeah, they did obviously, and yeah, found some race pace, so very happy.
Well, here you are. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
So well done, Oscar Piastri, who wins in the end by 3.3 seconds. So the sheer statistics make it seem easy. Highlights of the race. Didn't start with many highlights for Lorenzo Lorandi, stranded on the grid, and then, of course, he was a retirement from the race, as also was Callan O'Keefe. Good battles early doors there involving Xavier Lloveras as he wriggled his way up on the inside. Petra Potacek off the road and back on again, but gained an advantage, so had to give back that place. Good fight between the cars of Lorenzo Colombo and Sebastian Fernandez there as they squabbled. Oscar Piastri hard at work for the race lead, trying to build the advantage back up again, and there was Kaya Collet getting himself up past the car of Lloveras as Javiera went off the road and back on again as well. To the inside line in that squabble for 3rd was Lorenzo Colombo, eventually down over by Sebastian Fernandez. He bagged 3rd, but Lorenzo Colombo down to 4th, and that meant that Oscar Piastri was still clear up front, driving away from the opposition to take his 3rd win of the year in Formula Renault Eurocup. So the drivers will in a moment make their way. Championship looking even stronger, came into that 3rd and staying ahead of Victor Martins. The man that was 2nd in the championship, Alexander Smoljar, ending up in 9th place. So there's been a little bit of shuffling there as well, and we'll see how things look once the result is declared going into tomorrow's race, because there's another helping of Formula Renault Eurocup here at Spa to come tomorrow. So all of these identical cars, of course. It's down to driver ability. It's down to how well you can work with the team to get the most out of it. And the drivers now get themselves ready for the podium. Bottles of water ready. The championship officials round everybody up. If you've got your watch to wear for your sponsor, that needs to go on. Everybody suitably adorned. Watches on display. And as soon as we can get the podium underway, the drivers will scamper forward with Oscar Piastri for the top step of the podium. The Australian driver making this bold decision, as others have before him, to come and race single-seaters on the other side of the world. Sponsorship money hard to find, because most Australian backers want to be on the side of a touring car on national television in Australia. And there you've got the drivers ready and waiting. Formula Renault Eurocup Race 1 podium about to get underway. Sebastian Fernandez, who raced here in Formula 3 last year, steps forward for the third place on the podium. Then Victor Martins, the French driver, takes second spot. But the winner is the Australian driver, Oscar Piastri, and for him, it is a third victory of the season. He looks pretty modest about it, but a very happy driver nonetheless. Oscar Piastri onto the top step of the podium. And Oscar Piastri, the winner, to be joined now by Kushmaini. There he is, as the winning rookie driver, making his way to the other end of the podium. And the winning team also represented on the podium. Oscar Piastri from R-Ace GP. Oscar Piastri, the winning driver. It's the British national anthem that's played for the Australian because he's got a British race licence. And we look forward to race 2 tomorrow. Can Oscar Piastri do the double? We'll find out tomorrow here at Spa. Great drive by Oscar Piastri to win, and we'll see you for more Formula Renault Eurocup tomorrow. From David Anderson at Spa-Francorchamps for now, it's goodbye. Et il va remettre ce trophée, eh bien, à Sébastien Fernandez, le pilote.